Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 20 of the Fit in 10 Challenge, and I'm going to get right into some questions because I still got a bunch, and you are supposed to submit your questions to me tomorrow, right? Or you got to send me your feedback form by tomorrow night, okay? Or at least by Saturday morning, all right? So somebody had mentioned here that that they are doing some of the classes and that that they should start doing some workouts on their own, since they shouldn't be relying on classes. So I'm not sure why you said you shouldn't be relying on classes. It's totally fine to rely on classes. You will learn more in the classes than you will on your own. So I would encourage you, if you are doing the classes, to do as many classes as you can, okay? There's nothing wrong with relying on the classes. All right, next, injuries in training. Somebody had injured their back slightly, or they had some stiffness, some soreness, and so they took a few days off. I'm going to recommend to you that you refrain from doing that as little as possible. The only time I'm going to suggest that you take time off the gym, in a nutshell, is if you are sick. Okay, if you're sick, take time off the gym for sure. Okay, because your body needs those extra resources to recover. But if you have an injury, there's always ways to work around things. Okay, so even if you're coming in for a leg day and you have a sore back, you can still do some of the machinery, like a lying leg curl, for instance, or a seated leg curl for that matter. You can still do some lunges, and you may even actually be able to get away with doing a stiff-legged deadlift, depending on how sore your back is. And then there are some other things that we can throw in place of squats and regular deadlifts, etc. Okay? So still come out to the classes, regardless of your injury. Same with upper body, okay? You can have a shoulder injury. There's still maybe some arm work you can do. You can still do some pulling work. We just want to stay away from pressing, generally speaking, with a shoulder injury, okay? So not a reason not to come to class, not a reason to take time off. Injuries are not, I've always worked around injuries, always, 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 because you can. You can, okay? All right, boot camps towards cardio. Yes, the boot camp classes count as one cardio. So the boot camp classes count as half a workout, half a weight training workout, and then the cardiovascular portion of that class is it counts as a full cardiovascular session, okay? All right, somebody else had mentioned that they didn't really give me any details. They just said that Saturday they felt like they had gained some progress, and then Sunday came along and they felt like they had regressed, okay? So basically what they said is Saturday they felt like their waist was smaller, and then Sunday they felt like their waist was bigger. So unless you overate on Saturday night, you may be holding water as a result, or maybe you indulged in extra salt or something. So that would be very possible. But I'm more likely to say to you, if you didn't cheat, then it's probably more likely in your mind. Okay. Now that's not to say that that there aren't other reasons why you might hold water from one day to the next. It's very possible. Sleep can be one of those things. Stress can be one of those things. Where you might hold a little bit more water, but certainly if you cheated, okay, so if you had like a huge meal, or you went out with friends and you just let yourself go for an evening, yeah, the next day you would definitely see a difference, okay, and that's not necessarily fat. That's just going to be in particular more water, okay. So with more food will come more water on the body. All right, okay, now let's talk about something that I like, although I will tell you this much, I love milk. I absolutely love milk, like cow's milk. And so much so that when I was a kid, that's all I drank. I drank a little bit of juice, but I mainly just drank milk. Even when I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, I would still drink like a gallon of milk per day. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. But I don't drink milk anymore because it's too many calories going into that, and so I would rather just have something like this, which is almond milk, all right, or I buy cashew milk, and I love it. It's got some taste in it. There's only 35 calories, mainly coming from fat, by the way, so it's basically no carbs, no protein. There's a very small amount, and about 3 grams of fat. So most of the calories coming from fat. And this is what I use to make my shakes, generally speaking. All right, so this is a great way to go. Now you might say to me, well, isn't this a processed food? Yes, it is a processed food, but it's not a bad processed food. I mean, essentially, When you look at the ingredients, yeah, you've got some things in there like some additives like sodium bicarbonate and some gum additives to make it a little bit thicker. They've also infused this with some vitamins. And of course there is an actual almond base, all right? So there's an almond extract from this. But there's sea salt natural flavoring, so it's not a bad product. Yes, I do want you to stay with as much as possible natural whole food sources, but something like this is certainly not that bad, okay? So just because it's processed doesn't mean it's like super terrible for you, all right? Okay, that's it. Message of the day. Here are 3 things that you can rid of your life, and these are 3 P's, all right? So these are people pleasing, all right? The past, that is living in the past, and perfectionism. All right, so these are 3 things I want you to rid of your life. People pleasing, you don't need to people please. Just please yourself, all right? Within reason, of course, okay? Living in the past, I don't think it really helps us to live in the past. Just think about now more than anything, and of course planning for the future to some degree, of course, with your diet, yeah, and your training. And of course, perfectionism. We want to get away from perfectionism. For me personally, this was something that held me back a long time because I just wasn't willing to do anything out of fear that it wouldn't be good enough. And that's just it's just nonsense. We are human. We make mistakes. We can't expect to be perfect, but we can always strive to be better at whatever we do. Striving to be better, I think, is really, really important. And striving for perfection is fine, but knowing that you made mistakes or knowing that you weren't perfect in whatever endeavor you're trying to do is totally fine. It's totally normal, and it's to be expected, right? So three things to rid of your life: people pleasing, living in the past, and perfectionism. All right, you guys, we'll talk to y'all soon. Saturday we have class, 10:15 a.m. Be there. See you guys. Submit, commit.